Here, take your change and get out. The manager's voice dripped with contempt as he tossed coins onto the counter. They clattered loudly, scattering across the polished floor like worthless scraps. Patrons chuckled. Some smirked. The black man bent quietly, gathering the coins one by one, his silence cutting sharper than any words. What no one knew, not the sneering manager, not the watching crowd, was that the man they mocked had just bought the very walls surrounding them. The restaurant sparkled with chandeliers and polished wood. Waiters in black vests floated across the floor with practiced grace. Wealthy patrons laughed over wine glasses, sealing deals with handshakes that smelled of money. To outsiders, it was a temple of refinement. But for those who looked closer, arrogance lingered in the air service was polite only for those who looked the part. Tonight, that arrogance was about to meet its reckoning. Marcus walked in quietly. His jacket was simple, his shoes plain, but his stride steady. He didn't care for appearances. His wealth was built in silence, through years of sacrifice, sweat, and resilience. To the staff, he looked ordinary, maybe even unworthy of this establishment. The manager's eyes narrowed immediately, judgment dripping from his gaze. Marcus chose a seat near the corner, calm, composed. Inside, he already knew the truth papers in his briefcase bore his name, the ink still drying on the deed. But he wanted to see with his own eyes how those who worked under him treated the people they thought powerless. From the moment Marcus ordered, disdain followed him. The waiter rolled his eyes. His water glass was filled carelessly, splashing onto the tablecloth. Other patrons received smiles and polished service. He received sighs and silence. The manager circled like a hawk, smirking, whispering to staff. Marcus noticed it all, but remained silent. Every slight was another truth revealed. Every sneer was another nail in Arrogance's coffin. When the meal ended, Marcus requested the bill. The waiter dropped it with a snap. No, sir. No courtesy. Marcus placed crisp bills on the tray, enough to cover the meal and a generous tip. He believed in respect, even when it wasn't returned. But the manager intercepted the tray before the waiter could return. His lips curled cruelly as he counted the bills. Instead of handing back the change, the manager sneered and tossed it across the counter. Coins clattered loudly, bouncing onto the polished floor, rolling under tables. "There's your change," he spat. Patrons turned to watch, some chuckling, others whispering. The sound of laughter mixed with the metallic ring of coins. Marcus bent slowly, picking up each coin. His face showed no anger, only calm. That calm was unnerving, like the stillness before a storm. The restaurant grew tense. Customers shifted, uncomfortable. Some felt shame but said nothing. The manager crossed his arms, smug, convinced he had won, convinced he had shown this unworthy man his place. Marcus straightened, pocketing the change. His eyes met the manager's, calm and steady. "Interesting," Marcus said softly. "This is how you treat your customers." The manager laughed cruelly. "Customers like you?" "Absolutely." Marcus nodded once, his silence louder than rage. Then he walked out. The next day, the staff assembled as usual. The manager strutted about arrogant, retelling the story of the night before as though it were a victory. Waiters laughed nervously, trying to please him. But their laughter froze when the front doors opened. Marcus walked in not in plain clothes this time, but in a tailored suit that spoke of authority. Behind him walked two lawyers, carrying leather briefcases. The manager frowned. "What are you doing here?" He barked. Marcus's voice was calm, steady, commanding. "I'm here to inspect what I own." The words struck like thunder. Papers were placed on the counter, the deed, the contract, the signatures. Gasps rippled across the room. The staff stared in disbelief. The manager's face drained of color, his arrogance collapsing in on itself. The man he had mocked, humiliated, and disrespected was his new boss. Marcus's words echoed through the restaurant, not shouted, but carried with weight. Respect is not optional. It is the foundation of service, a business of life. You threw change at me as though my worth was measured in coins. But today, I hold the deeds to every brick, every chair, every chandelier above your head. The room fell silent. Patrons bowed their heads. Staff trembled. The manager stammered, searching for words, but none came. Marcus dismissed the manager on the spot. His arrogance, his cruelty, his reign of mockery was over. The staff, humbled, swore to change. Customers applauded softly, not for Marcus's wealth, but for his dignity, for his strength in silence. Marcus stood tall in the center of his new restaurant, not gloating, not boasting, simply setting a new standard. Respect would no longer be optional. It would be the law of the house.